Hello everyone, I'm here today with a flip-through video. We're looking at day 2 of my New York trip from May of 2025. We start here right away in the morning. This was Leo's Bagels. This is my favorite bagel place in New York City. It's in Fidei, so not in like the Midtown area where most people tend to go. I just happened to find it by chance, ended up loving it, and so now I try to get there when I can. And it worked this morning because I was on my way to the Brooklyn Botanic Garden, and you need the same train to get down here for this and then to go over there. So it worked well to just walk a couple blocks from my hotel, jump on the train, jump out here, get my breakfast stuff, get back on the train. And as you can see here, I actually saved the receipt, which I like to do that sometimes when I can. I did put a sticker on there as well as here, but I kept it very simple because a lot of this is quite busy. So I figured, just those two little things, that was enough. Now on this page, I actually made it to the gardens, and it's a short walk from where the train lets you off to the main entrance. So that worked out well. So I could see the signs here on the street as I approached, so I knew I was in the right place. And then obviously I'm on the inside now, strolling, taking it all in. And this picture is kind of misleading. From this, it looks like, oh, there's not really much blooming. It's kind of boring. But this was not the case. It just happened to be that that's kind of a more open area. You'll see all of the beautiful flowers I saw. And I highly recommend you go to the garden if you get the chance. And it's super easy to get to it in Brooklyn. And so here I just did some puffy stickers that I had that were garden themed. That made it kind of easy. And then over here, I chose to use the entire brochure and map that you get when you check in to pay or you have your ticket. And I left it in so that it could be fully opened. And then it actually goes out even further, but it's not going to fit on camera. There's a lot in there so that it'll help me remember, hopefully, like in what order I walked around the garden, what I saw in each area. Hopefully that'll come to me when I'm much older. And all I did here on the front was I put on this epoxy butterfly that I had, but I did choose to make a layout of the back. I had this beautiful photo, so I decided to enlarge it, made it fit the brochure here, and I just covered up the back with some washi because what was under there was boring, didn't need that. And then again, another epoxy butterfly. And then it's kind of hard to see here. There, now the camera will show it. I had a clear, there we go. Can we see it? A clear acrylic piece that said May. It's very, very thin. It's from Color Cast Designs, if I remember correctly. And I had just been holding it, waiting for something. And then it turns out I went to New York in May, saw beautiful things, so I got to use it. So I have quite a few more layouts from the Botanic Garden, so you can tell that I enjoyed it. It was stunning. So here's a layout. I chose to do this part in canvas. We use that at school. Canva. You can see I have my... And here is another layout from the gardens, and you can see this one I did digitally. I did it in Canva and then printed it out as a 4x6, and then I have a 2-inch slot here, so I used that to put in a bunch of sequins, and I actually was able to use up the last of the vine sequins that I had. So that was a great way to get rid of those. I've had them for a long time, so it worked out that the green matched and it fit the theme. And then on this side, of course, because it's back to back, whatever I did, I had to make it match this side. So I figured, yep, white is safe, yellow safe, kind of the clear ones in here, the vines are safe. And then I had a very light green, and I was worried about it at first, but it actually matched this really well. And then here I decided to go a little purple because there is purple on this side, but that's really the only place you see it. So I decided to do a 3D embellishment here that's purple, and then I chose a purple puffy sticker as well. And I got lucky that I had a card in the right color that said May. I just added in the number stickers for that, and that was super easy to put together. Here is yet another layout from the gardens. This one I wanted to be all purple because there were such gorgeous shades of it. I couldn't not do it. So I got lucky that I had hoarded some paper from a set. It's a paper and sticker set from Creative Memories. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago maybe, and I'm pretty sure it's called Secret Garden, like the book. And I actually bought 2 sets because I loved it so much, and now I got to use more of it here. So everything here, the stickers and the paper, are Creative Memories. The the enamel dots, I think those are Echo Park, maybe. And then this acrylic piece that says Gorgeous, that is from Color Cast Designs. So even more layouts, and on this one, I'm so glad I was able to use this card. I do a monthly kit from Ellie's Studio, and sometimes there are cards in there that are a little bit more seasonal that I'm like, you know what, I don't scrap about that a lot. I don't know that I'm ever going to use it. And this was one of those. And I just got really lucky that like the theme worked, the colors worked with what I had going, and I was able to use it here. All I had to do was put on this puffy sticker, and that card was done. And I chose to do some alpha stickers here. And the gardens is kind of known as BBG. A lot of people don't say the full name. And so I thought, well, that's perfect. I can do that right in the large letter stickers I have. And then another puffy sticker. These were from the same set. I have a whole sheet that had a bunch of great stickers on it. You're going to see some more of those in subsequent layouts. So we're not done with those yet. And then here I wanted to break up the 6x8 pages a little bit, and this was the perfect way to do it because these photos were very well sized to be 4x4s. So I just got lucky with the composition that was going to work. And all I did here was I put on this one little phrase. That's it. It's so lovely. It didn't need anything else. The backside, obviously they're also 4x4 photos, but I chose not to do the white border on these. There was just a lot happening, and I wanted the color to be more of the focus. And I did choose to cut this one down a little bit so that you could see the white part there, the little label design. And then I just used a sticker that I had from my garden sticker book, which is from Cartabella. And there's a ton of stickers in there. It's going to take me forever to use them, but here I got to use one. And then on this side, I decided to just use this insert rather than a full page because I didn't really have that much left that would require a whole page. But I had some of these ready to go because if you use like a smaller album that's 4x6, this one fits in there. So I was like, you know what, it'll still work in a 6x8, so I'm just going to use it. And then so that was the end of Brooklyn there. Then I went back to Manhattan and I wanted to see the Macy's flower show. And this was the first time I have been there when it's going. And I have to say, it is stunning. Lots of gorgeous, gorgeous displays. However, don't go like midday through mid-afternoon. It was so incredibly crowded. I wouldn't do that again. I think I'd wait till like 7 o'clock at night, maybe. I think they're open till 9. So go in the evening when there are far fewer crowds, or maybe even right when they open, because it's early enough where maybe not all the tourists are out. Try that, and then maybe you'll have a better experience. I think I did pretty well with my photos with kind of waiting till people weren't immediately in front of what I wanted to shoot, but you will definitely see some people in here because there were just too many people. There was no way I was going to get clean shots. So here's my first layout. This is the page I had to DIY because there is no ready-made configuration of this on the market that I'm aware of. I looked, I didn't find any. So I used my fuse tool to make the pockets here, and I love the way it turned out. There's another acrylic piece from Color Cast Designs. Then here I chose to use those big letter stickers again and spell out Macy's because they were yellow and it matched what I had going on here. And again, here are those puffy stickers I talked about. Whoops. These are all from that same set. These little ones, the butterflies, and then this round one, those are from that sticker book from Cartabella. So those aren't, but they're flat. All the puffy ones are from the same sheet from Ellie's Studio. After doing the flower show, I knew that the drama bookshop was close, that it was walkable. So I wanted to fit that in because that's been on my list for a while. And here it is. You can see the inside is so fun. They have all of these displays kind of coming out of the walls in different ways. And it's a cool place anyway. That just adds to it. It adds the drama, if you want to say that. And then I happen to have these numbered chipboard pieces. And these are always a challenge for me because I don't do a lot of numbered things like that in my scrapbooks. But here I'm like, hey, I've got 1 through 4 and I've got 4 photos that I can use. And they're black and white, which matched kind of what I was doing here. I was trying to keep this a little more subtle because these were so busy, and I think that worked out well. So after the bookshop, I had a timed ticket to go to the Guggenheim because they do make you choose a time slot. There's a little wiggle room there, but they really want you to be on time and stick to that time slot. So I knew I had to get up there. I ended up actually being slightly early. They did let me in. They didn't say anything about it really, but just so you know, it is timed. And then here's what you see on the inside. Of course, it's famous for its architecture, not just the art. And I wanted to get some nice pictures of different angles inside the building. So this is from the ground floor looking up. And then there's a flip up here. I felt like the colors matched well what was in the sticker that I picked up in the gift shop. And I had to build this card a little bit. It came without this strip. It came without that geotag. I added those simply so that all the colors would somewhat match, just so that they would look good together. So this is still inside the Guggenheim. This is one of the temporary exhibits that I saw. I love mosaic work. And if you're ever in Philly, there's a place called Magic Gardens. It's a lot of things like this, but used with found objects. If you like that kind of thing, that's a good place for you. So I was very excited to see that something like this was showing at the Guggenheim when I was there. And this one I also did in Canva. Dropped in this digital card, and then once it was printed, I just added on the embellishments. This layout, I'm still at the Guggenheim. Also did this one as a Canva layout, just so I could fit a little bit more. So I was able to get my 4 photos on there that I wanted, plus I dropped in this digital card. And then I chose to just do a couple epoxy hearts. They're very thin, which is helpful. In a pale pink, kind of matching this up here, this pale purple, pinky color. And then I threw on this little piece of chipboard. When I was done at the Guggenheim, I went to the Met. If you've never been to New York, these are very close together. Basically like maybe 3 blocks, maybe 4. I don't think it's 4. You're walking on the same street. Like you don't even have to veer off the street if you don't want to, because it's straight down the block. So went into the Met, and I only had about an hour before they closed, but that was perfect because I was only going there for one thing. I wanted to see the John Singer Sargent exhibit called Sargent in Paris. So I knew, okay, an hour, I might have to rush a little bit, but it's not horrible. So here's my ticket coming in, a fun card I found, and then I just put these two together of entering, like in the front part. It's so beautiful when you walk in. It always makes me catch my breath a little bit to go to the Met, so I had to include that. And then once I got past that area, I went right to the Sargent exhibit. So here it is. And I was so lucky to have to wait like only a minute for people to clear out in front of these so that I could quick take the pictures. So that worked out super well. Happy with that. And then here, because these are kind of busy, the frame's kind of ornate, I thought, you know what, maybe since these colors all kind of match, I can just do gold since there's gold in the frame. And I think that was the right choice. I have 3 different sizes of the same set of stars, so it looks cohesive to me, and I love that it's very clean and simple. And then we're still at the Sargent exhibit here. This one I had to mix it up a little bit, and I'm lucky that there was some red in here because then I was able to use some red phrase strips that were museum oriented. And then again, I chose gold because there was a lot of that happening. So I just used some gold hearts that I had, and those are flat stickers, so even better, it did not add any bulk. So on the back, I had kind of an open space. There was nothing else really slated to go here, and I had this sticker that I bought somewhere. I can't remember if I bought it at the Guggenheim or the Met or wherever, but I had this, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna pick a random background and put that on there and just say, yep, the Met was great. It always is. So I have that. And then it's a nice separation before my next stop, which was the Albertine. If you've never heard of it, it's a bookstore that specializes in French culture. So most of the books in there are in French. I had the opportunity to speak to the woman working the desk on the main level and was able to speak a little French with her. So I can't say that every employee there is French speaking, but this one certainly was when I was there. So here I kept this pretty simple too because of, look at the architecture. Everything was just so ornate, so busy, lots of things happening visually. So I didn't want to overwhelm that. So simple embellishment here, simple phrase here. This really was just to bring in the color. I didn't really need the sentiment, but I wanted the color. And then here's inside. So this is the lobby that you're seeing here, but inside the actual bookstore, this is what you see. So it's not as ornate by any means, but it's still beautiful. And all I did here was just use a phrase sticker that I had from a set that's about books, so that worked out well. And then here you can kind of see it coming. This is the main attraction there. It's the ceiling upstairs. You may have seen it on TikTok or Instagram or somewhere. It's quite famous. I wanted to see it with my own two eyes. But I did end up buying a beautiful bookmark in there as well. And at first I thought I was actually going to use it as a bookmark. But then I decided, you know what? No. I want to put that little blurb in my album. So it's in there. But I didn't need stuff on both sides. So I chose to cover this up, try to pick a somewhat matching color, and then just use some embellishments I had, and I think that was an okay choice. And then here, because this is in a large 6x8 and I really wanted this to be the focus, I did not want to add a ton of stuff. So having this larger piece of ephemera here was perfect, and I love the sentiment. Moments to remember. Yes, I will remember that because you go upstairs and you just can't take your eyes off it. It's just so beautiful. And then lastly, I have my dinner for the evening. So I was at the Met, or Guggenheim, the Met, the Albertine. Those are all on the Upper West Side, very close to each other, very easy to find. But then I wanted to go back to my hotel, which was on the Upper West Side. So I had to take a bus, kind of a transverse bus that crosses the park. Got out and had dim sum because there was a place over there I wanted to try, and it was on the way back to the hotel. And you can see the name here, Try Dim Shanghai, in the Upper West Side. So when you're on the Upper West Side too, like you can walk any block and you are going to find lots of great food options. So if you're thinking, yeah, I'd like to stay up there, but dim sum isn't my thing, you will find plenty of other options, believe me. But this was extra fun for me because I actually had cards that would work with it. I've been dying to use these. They're kind of cheesy, but I dig that about them. And I wanted to use them. So here it became possible. So on this side, I have a 4x8 insert, and that one I did in Canva. Printed it. This was all on there. I manipulated that within the program so that when it came out, all I did was I put on these rhinestones, and then I did that stamping, and I did use StazOn ink to make sure it didn't smear. And this side was super easy. I just did some matching washi I had to mimic what was over here. Used a scrap of paper, used a corner rounder to get that effect. Added the rhinestones. Pretty simple. But that's all of my day 2. After that, I was so tired from day 1 and 2. Originally, I had thought like, oh, maybe I'll go down to the theater district and walk up and get tickets to something. I just couldn't do it. My legs were so tired, and I was just tired in general. And I was like, you know what? It's late enough. I'm just going to go rest in my hotel room and watch something on Netflix or something. So I just took a rest. But that was all of day 2. Hope you've enjoyed seeing that and that you come back for part 3. Thanks for watching.